Welcome back, guys, for another friendly episode from your hosts, Jay and Jake. So today we're going to be talking about why you, why us, why we, why you, why your base is losing to the top 3 armies in Age of Sigmar, according to the last MetaWatch. But before we jump into that, thank you so much for helping us get and break 200 subscribers.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, like Jay said, we've been doing this for 9 videos now, so about 9 weeks, give or take. And to see this kind of growth, I know like 200 isn't. It's nice.
That's a lot.
It's nice. Remember when I first started this, and I was like, Jay, I don't even know. Are people even gonna watch us?
And I was like, I don't give a shit.
But anyways, several people have asked, how can you support the channel? How can you help contribute towards added equipment, like like lapel mics and stuff, and foam bass traps, which you can't see. But yeah, no, we decided, we're like, hey, let's come up with some cool designs, and we set up our merch shop. I really loved the fact that we did a Team J versus Team Jake category.
Wait till you see them, they're red.
Yeah, I love it, if it hasn't scrolled yet. But yeah, next time we'll be drinking out of our Team J and Team Jake mugs. But let's jump right into it. So the number 1 army of what you're probably losing to is Kharadron Overlords.
It's true.
Sky Dwarves. Can you say that anymore?
Squats.
Don't get me wrong. These guys are, it's an amazing army to look at.
Yeah.
Especially when well painted. I've seen some beautiful armies hit the tabletop, but they are so annoying to play against.
True story.
No surprise at all why they're the number 1 spot on Warhammer Community's MetaWatch.
I mean, we don't even have a lot of data, but what we do have, it screams KO is just performing. They're overperforming.
Overperforming, yes. Yeah. And notice, so we had an interesting discussion about this. How and when did the meta shift in Age of Sigmar from what it was before to shooting and magic heavy?
Yeah.
I'd say KO has a whole lot to do with it.
I think so too. People wanted to bring like-for-like responses, so KO comes out with a bunch of shooting, and people are like, well, I can't close the gap, so I need to match that shooting.
Right. Yeah, and there's a few things that you're going to have to look out for. So, granted, they got a substantial buff when their updated book came out, Aether Gold alone. The mechanics of Aether Gold is really difficult to deal with. So what is Aether Gold? That's a big question.
Every unit gets 1 Aether Gold, sometimes more, and that's where it starts to get tricky. And it has a couple of different uses. But I think the biggest one, like our buddy Justin always points out, it's busted being able to choose to reroll after you see the result of the die. And
it hurts.
That's
so bad.
Pretty big.
Right. Oh, I failed the last save that I can secure this objective. I will spend 1 Aether Gold to reroll that.
Now I will choose to spend it.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty gnarly. And that's just one thing.
Right. Their mobility, allowing them to literally teleport around the battlefield, is pretty big.
Fly high.
Yeah, with all their disembark rules. The disembarkation can be manipulated with battalions, with
the Sky Lodges.
Sky Lodges, thank you.
Right.
Yeah. Being able to manipulate something that's already strong.
Right. Yeah, no, just innately the fly high rule goes like this. So for majority, or if all the sky ships, if they have only inflicted or taken 7 wounds, they can, whilst in combat or at the end of the combat phase, they can fly high and teleport to anywhere on the battlefield 9 inches away.
Right.
WTF. Like, I'm going to sit here, harass you, and tie you up in combat. No, bye. That objective's mine.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The way that objective grabbing works in AoS, they can start on an objective turn 1, fly away.
Right.
They still control the objective until you go and threaten it.
Yeah, so like take this. If you're a player that fields very hard-hitting close combat armies, for instance, which are plentiful in Age of Sigmar.
There's lots.
Right. You're gonna engage in fights, get overwatched, so you get shot at basically on the charge if you take that build. And then on top of it, you're gonna be hard-pressed to spread yourself across, especially like a 6 objective map. Like, right. How do you deal with that? So it's no surprise that Kharadron Overlords are topping the charts.
how do you combat that? One of the ways is to have more elite armies that you can spread out, like one of Jake's favorite, Gore-Gruntas. If you have them in multiple spots across the battlefield, there's no profitable places that the KO can reasonably teleport to. They have to delete your unit, otherwise you're going to charge it and delete them in return.
Right.
That's one small tactic that you might be able to employ, which is instead of spamming out a bunch of stuff, if you're regularly playing and losing to KO, look at bringing more elite units.
Yeah, and MSU, multiple small units.
Right.
Yeah.
When you can break up and be all over the battlefield, it not only narrows their field of, because they have to be 9 inches away, it narrows their zones of where they can teleport to.
Right.
And allows you to go and capture those objectives that they might have left behind.
And you can't ignore the things that your Kharadron or Overlord's opponent is stating to you. So if they have that one sky ship that can shoot you when you charge, aka Overwatch in 40k, and on top of it can drop like a massive amount of bombs. I believe there's a relic trait that's something that's D6 mortal wounds instead of the D3. Oh, don't charge it. It's as simple as that. Like avoid, listen to what your opponent's saying. They built that way for a reason. Right. Or the disembarking one, the one battalion where it allows you to retreat, embark, bounce, good day, have a nice life.
Is that the same one that gives you the 3d6 charge?
Yes. Oh yeah, that's right. And as soon as you disembark off of it, instead of a 2d6 charge, now you're up to 20, 25 dudes that are making a 3d6 charge.
Right. And your average threat range there is 10. So if you're 9 away, guess what? Your average dice roll is going to get them into combat.
And then fly high.
And then fly high.
So that's it. We like to poke, we like to prod at very hard-hitting armies such as Kharadron Overlords, who reroll everything, teleport everywhere, and
just break core mechanics of the game.
Right. So keep an eye out. If you're a KO player, I would like to say enjoy it while it lasts. I do feel like this is one of those armies that are going to get a bit of that FAQ errata GW treatment.
Yeah. I foresee a 10% points increase across the board with 3 minor rules adjustments.
Time capsule!
So one of the armies that Jake started with is Seraphon. What do you think?
I love them in the old book or the previous book. Yeah, there's like 9 old books technically.
Right.
Yeah. I love them in the previous book, but it was extremely boring to play. It was summoning and it was teleporting and that was it. New book, however.
Stupid.
So stupidly good though. There's so many ways to build Seraphon as an army because you get 2. So the things that you're going to be looking out for are the 2 different variations of Seraphon, which are coalesced, like angry dinosaurs, as they should be, and Starborn.
My favorite.
Right. And I love that they did that because like coalesce was how we played Warhammer Fantasy back in the day. There were freaking lizards riding lizards. Dinosaurs riding dinosaurs. But then the whole lore came about they're remembered lizards.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't sit well with me, to be completely honest.
I don't know. I think they had one of the coolest storylines that they're brought forth from the memories of the casters. And so they are made up of star stuff.
Yeah, like
and for some reason, they're demons.
Yeah, the toads like flew up into space. Okay, cool. Like I could dig into that, but just everything was remembered. I remember making that joke consistently as I was playing Seraphon. It was like, oh, he remembered them. He forgot about them. Yeah. The one thing I did appreciate, I did shelve them for a little bit because it played so differently. I wanted to move on and go to different play styles myself. But once you start digging into the new book, or the newest book, there's so many ways you can build and play Seraphon. But majority of the Seraphon players, or at least the competitive players, have geared towards a specific build. Now, if you see a Stegageddon list come out, don't be too worried. But no, you're going to probably have a fun, super fun, fantastic game because your opponent has a sense of humor.
Fun to paint, though.
Absolutely fun to paint.
Yeah,
and that's why Seraphon was our #1 of the top 3 armies of Age of Sigmar in 2020.
It's true.
Because they're amazing to paint, and now the rules support them. There's not really a bad unit you can take anymore.
No.
Yeah.
No, especially things like salamanders. They hit hard.
Yeah.
And I really
so
like
hard now.
Even though the model's hella old,
yeah,
I still think it looks good.
Right.
It's really fun when people take the flesh hounds of Khorne and convert them into salamanders. They look really good. They do take a little bit of work to make them look stellar, but I think it's a cool conversion.
Or you can paint them red.
Yeah, because then they look so different than Fleshhounds.
And then the other way that people are playing them, which arguably would be the most competitive way to play Seraphon, is Starborn. You get that one teleport, which is a guaranteed teleport, but you get so many buffs that come with it, namely on the skink side of things. If you see a multitude of skinks, you're in trouble, okay? And then skink priests and skink star priests. Basically, just like death armies have traditionally fungus.
You just can't get away from Nurgle.
It's the way that most death armies, except for Oziarchs, have functioned in Age of Sigmar. You pick out their characters, they crumble apart. Unfortunately, not as easy in Seraphon and Starborn's case. But yeah, so anyways, if you hear Starborn, know this. The first thing, you have to know that skinks are now going to do, or able to do, mortal wounds on their blow darts.
Right.
And they get 2 shots per skink if they run 15 or more at 18 inches, right?
Yeah, it's blow darts. It should be a 12-inch or maybe even an 8-inch range. It's a blow dart.
Hell, Flamers only had like 9 for
a long time.
Yeah. And then for 1 CP, you can, again, Overwatch. Shooting! Ding, 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 ding. As a Seraphon player, in the opponent's charge phase, you spend 1 CP, your skink unit, or skinks or chameleon skinks can shoot. And then on a 4-up, again, they can move after that.
Right.
So it's kind of like the retreat that they had back in the day, but a little bit different. This is way better.
Yeah. It loses a little bit of consistency to gain a bunch of power.
So if your skink star priest or your skink priest is buffing your unit of skinks, which is probably 30 to 40 deep, you get the point. They're all popping off 2 shots apiece. 6s are producing mortal wounds. They're doing it in their shooting phase, and they're doing it in your charge phase, and then they're running away from you after you put all the effort into getting this close. Yeah. So to recap, 3-inch just move bonus for being Starborn.
Right.
Access to this kind of CP. Access to skink priests and star priests granting buffs and debuffs. I'd say that's your first target.
Yeah. So what's your favorite unit from Seraphon? Just in a vacuum. It doesn't have to be good, just favorite unit, period, for whatever reason.
My favorite unit is the Bastillodon.
It's such a prick.
And then he got a 1-up save.
Yeah.
Do you guys know what 1-up save means now in Age of Sigmar? It means you could be minus 10 rend on a 1-up save at the top bracket. They can only fail their save on a 1.
It's so stupid.
If you see a Bastillodon, don't shoot at it. Don't attack it. Just forget about it.
You have to drown it in shots. You have to say, here, make 60 saves.
Right. Well, I just love the model. I just love the model.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gameplay-wise, Croak's just a badass now.
That's my favorite model. That's my favorite unit. Croak, surrounded by Temple Guard. Not only does it look really freaking good, or are they Source Guard now?
Yeah, Source Guard.
Source Guard, yeah. Used to be Temple Guard.
You're so old, Jay.
Yeah. Croak as a model has stood the test of time.
Oh, yeah. I'm still mad that he's fine cast, but I'm almost not mad that he's fine cast because he still looks amazing.
Well, thankfully he doesn't have a little bunch of fiddly bits to bend and warp like Finecast does with every single one of those crappy resins. But yeah, it's still Finecast.
Yeah.
And it's better than metal, infinitely worse than plastic. He should be a little bit bigger, but maybe he'll get an update someday. Hopefully he doesn't just get deleted.
Oh man. Dude, I don't want to say mathematically unkillable because statistically it should, but on the tabletop, he's unkillable.
until I came around with Sons of Behemoth and one-shot him.
Right. No, but a 4-up feel no pain, an ability to pass off wounds, a standardly high save, a 4-up save. And
great spellcasting.
And then you can Mystic Shield this. No, not even great spellcasting. It's like disgusting spellcasting. Yeah. You could take up to 5 spells? You can take the trait for +1 and just mortal wounds. Just crapping on mortal wounds all over the place. Again, you see him, don't go for him. Pick out the rest of the army if you can. But this is why we're all losing to Seraphon. Because 120 skinks for a 12. That's already 120 wounds you have to deal with. What are you going to do? Break their leadership? Cool. They always have a flat. No, that's coalesced. Coalesced leadership cannot be modified. Right? However, with Starborn, still you're dealing with a flat 10.
But let's say you have 20 skinks. They're still bravery 12.
Right. Oh, and plus bonuses for
ranks.
Yeah.
So, which is something everybody forgets.
Right. They're so efficient for their points cost. But again, that's why most people are losing to Seraphon.
Yeah.
And today we bring you a talk show about Tzeentch, brought to you by Jay.
Yeah, Tzeentch. Tzeentch is the best out of the three. Maybe not performance-wise, but definitely the coolest. They have super great paint jobs.
They painted Big Bird wrong, though.
Why?
Because he's supposed to be yellow. Corny jokes from
you know how you know it's not? Because he's not palling around with Snuffleupagus on this. So, yeah, another old man joke. Suck it.
Yeah.
All right.
Did you watch Sesame Street in black and white?
So, powerhouses of Tzeentch. What I do have is just kind of a list of the most commonly taken units. And you see a theme running throughout lots of competitive lists. And I'm talking these guys appear in almost every one of them in some form or fashion.
For sure.
So you got the Lord of Change, Big Bird. You have the Changeling, which is a named smaller caster. You have the Change Caster, who I believe he's more on the Mortals end, but he still pops up in demon lists. Kind of weird, but you know, he has his abilities that let him just jump around. Blue Scribes, which are fun. They steal spells and all kinds of crazy crap. The Exalted Flamers, the Flamers, which, as you know, I have a lot of them because I really love running them.
Yeah.
And then just horrors in general. You either run pink horrors or you run brimstone horrors just to fill out slots, which is dumb. Them taking brimstone horrors and filling out battle line with them, or just small objective captures, whatever, is amazeballs.
I'm personally salty that Ogroid isn't an auto take. Ogroid Thermitage. I just like him.
He should still, in my opinion, be Beast of Chaos anyway.
For sure.
But he's not, so.
Especially the new Warcry version, Ogroid.
The Myrmidon.
Mermaid, yeah.
Mermaid, yeah, that. An honorable mention that shows up in a lot of lists is the Gaunt Summoner on disc. He's just a good spellcaster. He usually reinforces Archaon, but he does make an appearance in Tzeentch quite a bit, and you just see him in a lot of the top tier lists.
Yeah, people are still doing really well with the Zangor Enlightened on discs. They're wicked fast.
Right.
Okay. Like what coast am I from? They're fast, and they can deny fight first if you daisy chain everything off properly. They're still doing mortal wounds. The Skyfire ones, not so much these days. They're way too expensive.
What's funny is even though these are explosively powerful units, you're not seeing them in many lists.
No, honestly, I can see why they're number 3 right now, because they're flamers, and just also when you charge flamers and I don't know, they're just doing too many mortal wounds against you when they're the ones that are dying.
Right.
Okay. But I still can see why they're not topping the charts anymore, because the last FAQ just bumped them up so much in points. I forget like what kind of scaling and percentage they went, but it was hefty.
Yeah, but that's okay. They'll survive. They're always going to be a nice powerhouse element because they match the theme of what we've been talking about the whole night.
Mm-hmm.
Shooting, good mobility, and ranged. Magic. Yeah, just a ranged army in general. Right. They have magic, and then they have one of the most durable battle line units in the game, being pink horrors.
That's a good point. So I see this question come up a lot just in the community in general, is people are kind of struggling to deal with pink horror blobs. Now, I'd say most people are familiar with the fact that they split 3 times. One pink when they die, turns into 2 blues, and those blues turn into brimstones.
Right.
Okay, so a total of
5
wounds. Yeah, 5 wounds. So, Jay, like you're a Tzeentch player, how does one deal with a 20-man pink blob? Maybe 2 in some lists.
So you want to kick out as many wounds against them as possible in one phase or one turn. That way they'll just fail their battle shock. If you deal 20 wounds to them, They're going to fail their battle shock. They're looking for a 1 if they still have an icon alive to hopefully not fail and bring some back instead. But otherwise, that's how you deal with them. Stay outside of their 12-inch shooting attack range because that can kick out a lot of damage if you let them get in there. Another thing that it's an expensive unit. So if they're planting it on a backline objective, ignore them. Let them just be there. Let them have that objective until you're ready to deal with them later.
All right, 440 points for 20?
Yeah.
Well, worth it if you're a Tzeentch player, but...
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 5-wound battle line.
Right.
It's hard to get around just the value there.
Right.
So don't bother trying to play the range game against them. In most cases, you're just not going to win it. If you have just like light to medium shooting, you're not going to out-damage their flamers because the flamers fly, have an 8 or 9-inch move, and then have an 18-inch range. So their threat range is a lot better than yours. I don't care who you're playing as. Even, one of my favorites now is the Lumineth with their 30-inch bows. It's not going to be putting enough shooting output to match what the flamers are going to be bringing.
Right.
So don't try to outrange them. Get in their face. They are an army of wizards. They are squishy. Yes, the flamers and exalted flamers can rebound wounds when they die.
Yeah, but what's the alternative? Like you said, you're going to sit back and
Just get
pew
shot.
pew them? Yeah.
Right. We got to know, what do you guys think? Are you guys running into the same stuff that we are with the top 3 armies? Or are you just managing to dodge them all together and they're just not in your game group?
Yeah, if you're smashing on all of these, there's 2 options. There's 2 things that could be going on here. Either your opponents aren't building lists right.
Could be. You're cheating.
Okay, so the third option, your second option is you're cheating. Or third option, you need to teach us, like, how are you winning every single game against these 3 armies?
Right. And if you're not seeing them at all, what is, comment, what is what you are playing against that is tough?
True, this is just an average. I mean, we're, piggybacking off of the Warhammer community's meta watch, so this is an average of competitive Age of Sigmar playing.
Right.
So you've made it this far into the video, and thank you. Appreciate those that actually make it to the end of the videos. What would you guys like to see next? We'd love to get you guys a little bit more interactive with us and help us further dictate the content. Comment down below what you'd like for us, or what the next subject you'd like to see. Maybe Beast of Chaos?
That would be rad.
I'd love to show them some love.
Yeah, but we really need a nudging.
We need GW to show them some love.
Well, I was going to say from our community, we need a little bit of a nudge to want to make the Beast of Chaos video because we particularly really, really like Beasts of Chaos. They're not very good, though.
I just don't want to paint 120 Ungor Raiders. On that note, keep fighting for what you think is right. Keep slaying that meta.
Like, comment, share, subscribe.
Until next time.